Well, very good morning, guys. So last day we just been discussing about collections. Yeah, we started the discussion about collections, right? So what's a collection? As I said, a collection is a dynamic array. A collection is going to be a dynamic array. It's a dynamic array. Okay. So basically, if at all you just talk about a collection, if at all you just talk about the collection, something like an array only, but this is going to be dynamic in nature. It is something like a array, but going to be dynamic in nature. It is going to be dynamic in nature actually. So that's what we're calling as a dynamic array. So what's an array? An array is what I'm just telling you. Just been talking about collections. A collection is a dynamic array. It is just going to be a dynamic array. Okay, so fine. Now, when we talk about these arrays, when we just talk about the collections, what I said, there are so many predefined collection classes that are available to us. There are so many predefined collection classes that are available to us, not like one. So many predefined collection classes are there. And all these collection classes are defined for us under one namespace. What is the namespace? System.collections. And if at all you want to work with them, you can straight away create the instance of that and you can start using them in your applications. You can straight away create the instance and start using them in your applications. It's not like one. N number of collection classes are just available for us to consume or for consumption. So let's try to work out with the various collections that are available to us and how you can just use them. Okay. So let's try to talk about the various collection classes that are available and how are we going to consume them in our applications. So most popularly, some of the collection classes we know, as I said, as I just talked about it, like stack, queue, linked list, sorted list. These are all some collection classes what we just have. And actually all these collection classes, what I was telling you here, we are familiar with those collections in called as a data structures. We call them as data structures in our C language, and we are familiar with those particular collections. So one of those collections and how to work out with those collections we'll try to understand in the today's session. Okay. So what is the namespace? We have all the collections, I said, system.collections. Under that, we have classes like stack, queue, linked list, sorted list, array list, hash table. Like we have very different things that are available. So let me show you how to work with those collections. Yeah, but I'm just going to start with the stack class. I'm going to first start with stack class. We'll just start with the stack class now. So last class we created a project, remember? Yeah. What is the name? Collections project. Fine. Okay. Now here I created the instance of the stack class. I created the instance of the stack class, stack. And you all know that stack works on a principle. Last in, first out, or first in, last out. Whatever you say, both are same. Last in, first out, or first in, last out. Both are going to be one and the same. And you guys know I said I created a stack and I want to store values into the stack. I want to store values into the stack. The mechanism of adding a new value into a stack is called as push. I repeat, the mechanism of adding a value into a stack is called as what? Push. We call it as push. And the mechanism of removing a value from a stack is called as pop. Push will add a value onto the top of the stack, and pop will remove the value which is present on the top of the stack. Push will add you on the top, and pop will remove from the. So, what type of values can I store in the stack? Object type. So, because it is object type, you can store any type of value now. See, yes dot push. The push, what is it taking? Object. Because it takes object, I can store an integer. I can store a boolean. I can store a double value. I can store a string value. I can even store a character value. Different types. So what is the first value first? A. So where will A present? A will be on the bottom. On the top of it, 100. On the top of it, false. On the top of it, 34.56. On the top of it, 0. That's how they are arranged. You guys always learned about a stack earlier. This is a stack. The name of the stack is given the name as yes. The name of the stack is yes. And on that, we are just going to store up all the values. The first value is A. On the top of it, you have the value 100. Okay. And on the top of it, we have false. Again, 34.56. And finally, on the top of it, we have hello. So that's how the stack is going to store your values. Got already know that. We already talked in the long back about a stack. This is how the stack will be storing the values to you. Okay, so it works at the principle what? First in, last out, or last in, first out. Actually, we learned about this in C language and we call them as data structures there. We call them as data structures. Now, can I print the values of a stack by using a for loop? Can I print the values of a stack by using a for loop? Means, frankly, no is the answer. Why? Stack doesn't provide you an index-based access. Stack doesn't provide you an index-based access. If at all you want to print the values of the stack by using a for loop, what you're required to do, you're required to call pop for 5 times. If you call pop for 5 times, it will print you. But once you call pop, all the values are removed. Without removing the values of this stack, can I print the values of a stack? It's not possible. Without removing the values of a stack, can we print the values of a stack? It's not possible in our older languages. But when you come to .NET, it provides you that option. If at all you want to print or access the values of the stack, you can access it by using for each loop. If you recollect, in the introduction, in the initial classes, I was talking for each loop. I said you very clearly, for each loop is especially designed for accessing values from arrays and collections. If at all you want to access your values from arrays and collections, the best option what we are provided is the for each loop. Use the for each loop for accessing the values in a better way. So now, without removing the values from a stack, I want to print now. I want to print by using a for loop. How to print, For int I is equals to 0, I less than what? S dot count. S dot count is the number of values I plus plus. Even though I just use a loop like this, okay, even though I'm just trying to use a loop like this, I don't have an index based access. So it is telling you, see, the for loop is telling you call pop. It's automatically generating that call pop. If you call pop, I get the value. But once I call pop, the values are removed from. So there is a danger now. So using for loop, there is no chance to access the values. Then how to access? The best option is for each. For each object obj in yes. For each object obj in yes, console dot write what? Obj plus some space. And finally, console dot write line, adding a line break there. Adding a line break and console dot read line. Are the values removed from the stack? No, they are not removed. So we have a principle on which the stack works. What is the principle? First in, last out. And this principle works in 2 scenarios. 1, when we are removing the values from the stack, and 2, when we are accessing the values from the stack. Watch it. Now we are accessing the values. What printed first? Hello. And do you remember hello is the last value? That's what? Last in, first out. And here is the first value, but came last in my output. Okay. So this is what we call as last in, first out. Okay. Now this is about pushing the values. Now next, the next thing is pop. What is pop? Pop means removes the topmost value on the stack. What is the topmost value on the stack? Hello. When I call pop, it removes. Actually, it does 2 things. Removes and returns. Means simply, I said you an example. Teacher correcting the books. So what the teacher does? The teacher picks the book, corrects it, and gives to you. That is popping. Once the book is booked and corrected and give to you, the book is no more present anymore on the top now. So that's what pop. Pop means the value will not be present. Removes and returns. So see, console dot write line, yes dot pop. What's it going to do? It's going to remove and return the topmost value. What is the topmost value? Hello. Watch. And that value is no more present in the stack now. That value is no more present in the stack. And to prove that, let me reprint the values on screen. Let me reprint the values. Once I reprint the values, you see now, you will not be finding the value anymore on the stack. Is that clear? Now if you call pop, what is removed? 34.56. Guys, I want to know what is the topmost value of the stack without removing it. I want to know what is the topmost value of the stack without removing it. Okay, what is that without removing it? Say there is a method called as heap. What this method, you know, this method returns the topmost value of the stack without removing it. Difference between pop and peak, understand? Removes and returns. Peak returns without removing. I'm not giving any descriptions for anything here. I called the methods here now. When you're writing the code, put your mouse there and read the description. It will tell you. Read it. Removes and returns the object at the top of the stack. Okay? Peak. Returns without removing now. It returns without removing now. And that's what exactly happens to you in this case. So the method I want to call is peak. The method I want to call is peak. Yes dot peak. Run and see. Not removed. The value is still present for you. It is not removed. Understood? If you want to view the number of items in the stack, okay, console dot write line. Number of items in the stack. You can find out by using the property count. For array, we have length now. For all collections, we have a property called count. Just for like array property for, length property for arrays, count is a property for all the collections. Every collection has this property, s.count. Will tell you the number of items. Right now, 4 items are there because one item is already removed. Understood? Now I want to remove all the 4 items. So I need to call pop for 4 times, right? Pop for 4 times. Without that, you have a direct method called as clear. Yes dot clear. You can clear the stack. So again, I'm printing number of items in the stack. Now it should be 0. Is that clearer, guys? Understood? This is how you work with a stack. This is how you work with a stack. Okay. So basically tomorrow when you're building an application, last class I said I given an example, you're building an application for a school and that application actually have all these functionalities required in that application. What functionality? What functionality requirements? They just want the functionality for I'm sorry. Yeah, they just want to implement the functionality for this one. You just want it like you want to build an application. In the application, you're expecting something like that works like a stack. I said you, are a teacher giving the homework or some test and all the papers coming and sitting in the stack. When the correction starts, one by one paper has to be coming. So if that is the case, what class will depend on? Stack class. Will depend on the stack class. Same way, we have another class here called queue class. Queue. You know queue. From morning to evening, every day, wherever you go, you'll be having a queue. You'll be forming a queue. You go to a cinema theater, you stand in a queue to purchase a ticket. You go to a grocery store, you're required to stand in the queue to pay the bill, like Reliance or anything. If you go, you're standing on the queue to pay the bill there. Yes or not? So you come across these queues in all the places. You come across the queues in all the appropriate places. We just have a queue. So just like a stack, you also have a queue class. Just like a stack, we also have a queue class and we can just work out with the queue class. There is also one class only. And what is the behavior of a queue? First in, first out. If you stand first in the queue, you are the first one to come out of the queue now. Am I right? If you stand first in the queue, you will be the first one to come out of the queue. That's what we call as first in, first out. I hope you guys are clearer. Yes or not? Okay, the last in, first out, and first in, first out. Nowadays, a first in, first out behavior, what we are coming across in case of the queue actually. Now it is a first in, first out behavior, what we are coming across with a queue. Fine, well and good. Now, what is the mechanism of adding a value into a stack? What do you call? Push. Removing? Pop. For a queue? For a queue, what do you call? For a queue, you call it as NQ and DQ. For a queue, you call it as NQ and DQ. NQ means adding a value into the queue. DQ means removing a value from the queue. The mechanism of adding a value into the queue is called NQ, and the mechanism of removing a value into the queue is called as DQ. Everything is same here, just you call the NQ, DQ, but otherwise the rest of the whole behavior will be same like what I just explained to you right now. For example, watch. Using system.collections, and I'm just going to add a new class now. Static void main. Create a queue object. Queue is equals to new queue. Queue is equals to new queue. Okay, now I want to store values in the queue. What do we call? NQ. NQ. I just stored the same values again here. But now it is first in, first out. What is first into the queue? Yeah. So basically, if you observe about the queue, in a queue, the two ends are open. If this is a queue, this end is also open. This end is also open. In every queue, if you just notice, every queue will be having some direction. Suppose assume this is the direction. You enter into the queue in this direction. You'll be exiting from the queue in this direction. So if you come first, you'll go first. First in, first out. First in, first out. Okay. Okay. So now I just wanted to print the queue values. Okay, same process for each object obj in queue. Console dot write obj console dot write line. Yeah. Startup object. What's the project name? Collections project dot class. The value A is first. Earlier, 100 is first and A is last. Now, A is first, 100 is last, because it is first in, first out. And to remove a value, what we have? DQ method here. So console dot write line q dot DQ. Same, what it does, removes and returns the first item in the queue. The first item in the queue. That is A. A is removed now. And if A is removed, And if you see, the rest of the items are going to be Is it clear? Okay. So this is how you work with the Q class. This is the process to work with the Q class actually. See, these stacks and queues, just to give an idea, I shown you, but these are outdated. These stacks and queues, just to give you an idea about them, I just shown you, that's all, but they're outdated. Okay, same way, if you know about a linked list, you know about a linked list. You have a class called linked list. You can create the instance of the class and work out with it. If you are aware of a sorted list, you have a class called a sorted list. You can create an instance and use it. Are you following me? Yes or not? If you are familiar with those particular classes, you can just see how to work with a linked list and how to work with a sorted list. All these things you can just use in your applications basically. Okay, so fine. Now, I'm not focusing much on these particular things because I said you, these are all outdated, just going to be outdated. So then what is important for us right now here is, what's important right now here is, it's about these classes, guys. What? Array list. What's important? Array list. That's an important collection class for us. Array list is an important class for us actually. So what is this array list and what is the use of the array list? What is this array list and what is the use of the array list? Let's try to understand about the array list class we'll discuss here. Okay, just a minute. As explained, just a minute. Arrays are simple data structures. Arrays are simple data structures. We call them as a data structures only in C and C++. Use it to store data items of a specific type. Although commonly used, arrays have limited capabilities. They're going to have limited capabilities. For instance, or for example, you must specify an array's size at the time of array's size. You must specify an array's size at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration, and if at all, and if at execution time you wish to modify, and if at execution time, if you wish to modify it, you must do so manually by creating a new array, and by creating a new array or by using array classes resize method. Both will do the same thing I said in the last class, remember, which creates a new array and copies the existing elements into the new array. It will create a new array and copies the existing elements into the new array. Okay, next. Collections are a set of pre-packaged data structures. Collections are a set of pre-packaged data structures that offer greater capabilities than traditional arrays. They offer you great capability like traditional arrays. What is that? They are reusable, reliable, powerful, and efficient, and have been carefully designed and tested. They are carefully designed and tested to ensure quality and performance. Quality and performance, they're guaranteed. Next, collections are like arrays. Collections are like arrays, but provide additional functionalities. They provide you additional functionalities. We have some additional functionalities. What are the additional functionalities? Dynamic resizing. Last class I said, you remember? You keep on adding the values, it will keep on increasing the size. Dynamic resizing. That is, they automatically increase their size at the execution time to accommodate additional elements. To accommodate the additional elements, they'll be just performing a resizing. Next option, inserting of new elements and removing of existing elements. All these things I said you can insert new elements also, you can remove new elements. See guys, resizing, talking about resizing, if you remember, I did not tell the size of the stack or queue anywhere. You noticed it? We did not tell the size of the stack or queue anywhere. Am I right or not? We did not tell the size of the stack or the queue anywhere at all. It was dynamical resizing. Second thing, you can insert new elements and you can remove new existing elements. You can insert new elements and you can remove existing elements. Okay. So guys, I just want to tell you one important thing here. I wanted to tell you one important thing here. Okay. One other important thing I just wanted to tell is inserting and removing of new elements is not possible with the stack and queue. Inserting and removing of things is not possible. I want to insert something in the middle. I want to remove something in the middle. That is not possible with stack and queue. Why, sir? Stack works on a standard principle. You are first and last out. Every item will be throwing on the top only for a stack and bottom only for a queue. Is it clearer or not? This dynamically inserting in the middle or removing from the middle is not going to be possible. It's not going to be possible. And all these functionalities, what I said you, if you want to test them, array list. What is the class? Array list is the class what you require to just use. See, initially in 2002, .NET introduced so many collection classes under the namespace system.collections. System.collections. And guys, in the brackets I'm mentioning, which is defined in the assembly. What is assembly name, you know? System.collections.non-generic. See, if at all you want to know the name of the assembly of any class, namespace name, if you put the mouse there, it will show you the namespace name. But if at all you want to show the complete thing, what do you want to see? I want to see the assembly name. I just want to see the assembly name also. I want to know what is the namespace. All these things I just want to know. When you right click on the class and use the option go to definition, you remember na go to definition option? Right click and say go to definition. When you right click and say go to definition, in which namespace? And you guys observe the assembly name on the top, it is showing you. System.collections.non-generic. Okay, that's what under the which is defined under the assembly or in the assembly system.collections.non-generic.tll. System.collections.non-generic.tll is the name of the assembly under which it was defined. And what are the classes we have? Stack, queue, linked list, sorted list, stack and queue. I said you. Linked list, sorted, all outdated classes. Just to give an idea. Array list has table. Array list has table. And you can work with these classes in your application where you need the appropriate behavior. Wherever you need the appropriate behavior, you can start working with these classes now. Am I clearer, all of you? Okay, to work with collection classes, I created a new console application project, naming it as collections project. Now under the first class program, write the following code to use the stack class, which works on the principle first in last out or last in first out. This is your first example where I demonstrated using stack class. Okay, next, second one. Working with queue class, working with the queue class. I shown you my second example to you, how to work with the queue class, to you. Always you require to remember this namespace, which one? System.collections. Yeah. So what is the third class we are going to learn? I said you array list. What is that? Array list. This array list is an exact replica for an array. I repeat, an array list is an exact replica for an array. What is that? Array list also will store the values like an array. In the sense, index positioning, guys. Index positioning. It just uses the index positioning and stores you the values actually. All the values will be stored in the array. So if at all I store the same 5 values in an array list, they'll be stored in their index order now. They'll be stored in their index order now. In the index order, all the values are going to be stored for you in this case. Okay, so that's what it is, just going to be like an array, but it has the extra capabilities. What extra capabilities? Auto resizing. No need to specify the size anywhere. Auto resizing. Second, inserting of new elements. Third, removing of existing elements. All these functionalities I can show you or I can prove you with which class? Array list class. I can show you or prove you with array list class, but not with stack or queue classes. Okay, let me show you. Come on. Add a new class, class 2. What is our assembly? System dot collections. So that's our namespace. Okay. Now look, static void main. Sorry. Static void main. I want to use a array list now. Array list. Array list. L is equals to new array list. Array list AL is equals to new array list. You want to add an item into this. The method to add is add a method. No push or pop and QDQ, nothing. Add a zeroth position. Zeroth position here means is it index specs? That only I said you. It's an exact replica of a array. It will provide you access to values with index only. It will provide you access to the values with the index only. I'm just going to store your value 100. Yeah, I just stored a set of values into this. I stored a set of values. How to print for loop, for each loop, you can use anything because it is index based access. For loop also can be used. But when you come to stack and queues, I cannot use for loop on them. What I should use? For each. But here for can be used, for each also can be used. Watch. I'll use a for int I equal to 0. I less than AL dot count I plus plus. Just a minute. I'll change the name as call1. Okay, fine. I just now I wanted to print the value console dot write. What? Call1 of I. Console dot write line, console dot read line. Index based access. It's purely index based access, and I'm able to print the values by using a for loop. Okay. Now shall we test the additional features of your array now? Yes or not? I wanted to remove the value false from this list. I want to remove the value false from this list. Okay, from the middle I want to remove. Okay, you can remove. How? There is a direct method here called as remove. We can use the remove method and remove now. What do you want to remove? I want to remove false. But here it's a doubt raises. Sir, there are two falses now. Which false is it going to remove? Let us see. Let's reprint the values. Now see, I am reprinting the values by using a for each loop. And what I was telling you, you can use for also works, for each also works. Which one is more comfortable to you? Try that option. I'm feeling For each is comfortable, and I'm just using a for each loop in this context. You see now, false is removed. Which false is removed? First one is removed. Why first one? Generally, it keeps on searching here. Now it finds false in the third place. Array, when it finds there, search will stop there. When it finds there, search will stop there. It won't continue further. It won't continue further. The search will immediately stop for you at that place. The further continuation will not be happening at all. No, sir, I want to remove the second false. I want to remove the second false. No worries. You can remove that also. How to remove? There is a method called remove at. For this, you can pass the index position and remove. Fifth value. This index position. See now, it removes you. Both the two remove methods will work. Remove will remove first occurrence. Remove it will remove positional. It will remove your positional. I wanted to remove these two. I want to remove both these two at a time. Not two times. At a time, I want to remove both the two things. Okay. So what is the index position of this? 3. And how many elements you want to remove? 2. Correct? There is a method called remove range. Starting from 3, remove 2 items. A range of values here, starting position 3, number of items to remove 2. You can see that 34.56 is also removed, false is also removed. Are you clear? Now see, look at this. Just a minute. What will this remove? Sorry. What will this remove? False. You already know that. What will this remove? Third element. Why are you thinking that much time? Third element. Whatever is present in the third element, that is removed. That is also false only. Array, that is also false. Third element is false only. Is it clear? Okay. Next. What will this remove? First element. Third element only. Your brain. Third element only. All the three are same. That's what I'm trying to show you now. All three are same now. False is all third element. If you say false also, that is only removed. Removed means third element. 2, 1 is also third element. That is also. All three are same right now. You can see all three are removing the same false only. So did you understand? Okay. Now look guys. Where I removed false, I wanted to insert true there. Where I removed false, I want to insert true there. Means position number 2. Correct? So if that is the case, you have an insert method. Call one dot insert. It'll ask you 2 things. Where you want to insert? Position number 2. What you want to insert? Value. True is the value I want to insert. And you guys can watch. Now, in the place of false, we have true. See, all the 3 are printed. First we have false. The second time false is removed. The third time, true came there. Is that clear? And is it proven like you can remove or insert elements in the middle? You try the same thing with an array, you cannot. If you want to do that, suppose you have these 6 elements in the array now. Okay, now you want to remove false. What to do? You're required to create a new array with a size of 5 now. Copy the first element in the first place, second element in the second place, fourth element in the third place, fifth element in the fourth place, sixth element in the fifth place. That is what you have to write manual coding for that, because it doesn't provide you that option. Now you want to insert true there. What to do now? Again, you're required to resize your array with a size of 6 now and copy first one into first place, second one into second place, in the third place add true, next third one into fourth place, fourth one into fifth place, fifth one into sixth place. And all that should be done manually. There is no chance of inserting or removing elements in the middle. So two things what are not possible with the arrays are proven here. And third thing, what is not possible with an array? What is that? Auto resizing. That is also happening here. We did not specify the size anywhere, remember. We did not specify the size anywhere. Even though you did not specify the size anywhere, it giving you a chance. It was just giving you to add new elements and resizing accordingly. Resizing accordingly. Do you want to test auto resizing? Do you wanted to test auto resizing? Watch it. I'll show you auto resizing in practical, all of you. Watch. There is a property under every collection called as capacity, not count. What is count? Count is the number of elements right now present in the array. Sorry, the collection. Count means the number of elements right now present in the collection. That is called as capacity. Sorry, count. What is capacity? The number of items that can be stored in this collection. How many items can you store in the collection? But there is no limitation for the number of items now. Yes, there is no limitation, but just watch it. What is the output say? What does the output say? 0. 0 is the capacity. The capacity is going to be 0 right now in this context. Okay. So if you observe it, if you just observe this one, the capacity is 0. What do you mean? When you create a collection, the initial capacity will always be 0. Means initial will be 0. Why 0, sir? That's what we want to test now. Auto resizing. It will resize. Whenever you need to add a value, it will perform a resize now. Okay, watch it. What is this? This is initial capacity. This is the initial capacity. What is the initial capacity? 0. Okay, now all of you have a look. I am adding the value A now. I'm adding the value A now. Now I want to test now. What is it? Capacity of the collection or capacity of the collection after adding what? First item. What is the capacity of the collection after adding the first item? Verify now. And that is what we call as auto resizing. See, the capacity is 4. So why 4? It won't allocate the room for 1 year. At a time, it is going to allocate the room for 4 items. Did you catch my point? There is a restaurant. And that restaurant is a place is started one in the industrial area and expecting people to come for lunch in the afternoon. In some industrial location or in the place where there are so many companies, this restaurant was started. And what they're expecting people to come for lunch in the afternoon. In the afternoon, they're expecting people to come for the lunch. Now tell me, you cook the lunch now. You cook the lunch. And suppose biryani is lunch and you see biryani, you order for a biryani, they'll serve you biryani. Is the biryani cooked when you go there? Is the biryani cooked when you just go and order for the biryani? No. The biryani is cooked minimum. You see a restaurant, minimum they'll be cooking for, based on the capacity, at least some 50 people at a time they'll cook. Yes or not? And people coming now eating, once the quantity is reducing, then they will start cooking for another 50 people. It depends upon the days, depends upon the climatic conditions also. It is heavily raining. So you don't expect people to come into the restaurant now. Yes or not? In such scenarios, we don't cook more. And right now, the time is 9 o'clock. People are coming, but the quantity is over. Now you don't cook for 100 people, 200 people now. What do you think? Okay, you expect until 10 o'clock, the restaurant is open. Another 25, 50 people may come and you cook for another 50 people. So You don't cook for one person, na? Same like that only. It is not allocating the room for one element. It is going to allocate the room at a time for four. Means there is a still space to accommodate three more elements now. Are you clearer or not? There is still space to accommodate three more elements without resizing. Without resizing. Okay. Now see. Now 100 is my second value. False is my third value, or otherwise, false is my third value. Okay. 34.56 is my third value, and false is my fourth value. False is my fourth value. So I have room for means without resizing, these three elements are stored in the array now. Sorry, in the collection now. Now see, in the end of this, I again want to check what is the capacity. Any guess? After adding the four items, I'm checking the capacity. Four only. Why? Array room for four, number of items are also four. That's all. Then when will it increase? It will increase when you are adding the fifth element. It will increase when you are adding the fifth element. Okay, watch now. Now I'm adding the fifth element, and hello is my fifth element. Okay. After adding, now auto resizing will happen now, and see the capacity. 8. This 8 will become 16. 16 will become 32. 32, 64. Means if it is 0, if there is 0, it will start with 4. If it is 0, it will be 4. It will start from 4 and doubles. If it is not 0, it will double. And if it is 0, it will go to 4 here. If it is not 0, the current capacity doubles. 4 becomes 8. 8 becomes 16. 16 becomes 32. 0 means 4. If it is not 0, double. That's it. Am I clearer, everyone? Okay, that is how it is auto resizing. So that is auto resizing of your collection. See now, there is a room for 8 elements here, but how many you stored? 5. Means you still have an option of storing 3 more elements without resizing. 3 more elements without resizing. I cooked for 100 people. I cooked for 100 people now. And right now, first person came. Array, the morning the restaurant will open cooked. Means for the next 100 people, I don't require to recook again. Understood my point? If 100 are completed next, I need to recook now. Exactly this also same process. Without resizing, you have an option of storing another 3 elements into it. Another 3 elements. After that, again the resize works. So when you're storing the 9th element, 8 will become 16. When you're storing the 17th element, 16 will become 32. When you're storing the 33rd element, 32 will become 64. Is it clear? Listen one thing, all these collection classes are having 3 constructors to them. There are 3 constructors to the collection class, or 3 constructor. The first one, default constructor. If you create an instance by using the default constructor, how it behaves is what I explained you till now. What is it? If you create with the default constructor, initial capacity is 0. After adding the first element, that will become 4. From then, whenever there is a need, the current capacity doubles. Okay? You have another constructor for which you can directly specify your own initial capacity. You can specify your own initial capacity. Watch it. When will it increase? When I'm adding 11th element, when I'm adding the 11th element, what it will become? Double, yeah, not 0, double. So 10 will become 20. Again, when 21st element, it will go to 40. 41st element, 80. You can give your own initial capacity. You see now, I am giving 2 here. So 2 means it will become 4, 8. Watch. Are you clear? If it is 0, it will jump to 4. If it is not 0, double. That's it. So did you understand the second constructor? Yes or not? See now, I'll tell you the best example. The restaurant was newly started here. They don't know how many people will come. So they prepared food only for 50. They prepared food only for 50. So by 1 o'clock, the lunchtime, by 1:15, 1:20, 50 people came already. And people are still coming. What do they do? They start preparing for another 50 people, another 50 people. Okay, again, another 50 people. Like this, they start cooking up the food. Now, you came to know, on the first day you came to know, there are nearly 150 people came for eating the food. When the 150 people coming for eating the food, now second day, will you prepare for 50, 50, 50? Yeah? No, starting only what you'll do? Okay, let us prepare for 150 people. If more people come, then we'll think. But initially they'll plan for at least 125 to 150 people. They'll start cooking now. So when you know you are going to store 100 elements in the collection, why you need resizing always at a time? Let us create with 100 now. Did you catch my point or not? When I know that minimum 100 elements are stored, let us create an array list directly with the size of 100 only. Why 5 waste of time? No. Directly you can. Then you use this constructor. Third constructor. What is third constructor? Third constructor is a copy constructor. Remember copy constructor? What's it? Taking the same type of the parameter is what we call as a copy constructor. So the third one is a copy constructor, guys. Watch it. Array list call to, I'm creating another array list is equals to new array list. For this, I'm passing a parameter. What I'm passing? Call one. Notice it, a copy constructor. A constructor which takes the same type as a parameter. What will happen now? Creates a new collection, copying the values on the whole collection, correct? How many values are there in the whole collection? How many? Louder. There are 5 values in the whole collection. There are 5 values that are going to be present in the old collection now. 5 values are there. And because there are going to be 5 values in the whole collection, what is going to happen? The 5 values that are present in the whole collection will be automatically copied into the new collection. Will automatically be copied into the new collection. 5 are there. The 5 will be automatically copied into the new collection now. And if at all you the new collection, see these are the 5 values what we have. And if at all you print the values of the new collection, okay, all of you observe. Adding an extra line break here. Come on, let us print the values of new collection. It's not call 1, it is call 2. You can observe. All 5 copied. Okay, now. Okay, all 5 copied, we just have the 5 values. Can you imagine or can you guess the capacity of the new collection? What is the capacity of the new collection now? Whole collection capacity is 8. I'm asking what the capacity of the new collection. Guess something, yeah. Something you say. What will be the capacity of the new collection? No. 5. It will be only the number of elements copied. How many elements are copied? That is only the initial capacity. How many elements are copied? That is only the initial capacity. Later, double. Later, non-zero will always double. So if you see the capacity of the new collection, initial capacity of new collection, that is 5 only. Sorry, I did not change the code there. I copy pasted the statement. So call 1 is there, not call 1, call 2. Check it out. So the capacity is 5. And if you try to add a new element now, this 5 will become 10. If you try to add a new element, the 5 will become 10 now. Check. Call 2 dot add I'm adding the value as false. I'm adding the value as false. Now, capacity of new collection after adding new item. What is that? 5 becomes 10 now. The 5 becomes 10 now. Guys, how many elements are there in the new collection? Brainless fellow, 6 here, body present and mind absent. Concentrate on the class. You copied 5 and added 1. How many? I know that I am not going to add I know that I am not going to add any more elements in this now. I know that I am not going to add any more elements in this. The 6 is final. But what is the capacity? 10. Elements are 6, but the capacity is 10, still unnecessary memory wastage. Once you know that there are no more values will be stored in this, then you have an option. What is that option, you know? You can call this method. Which method? Trim to size. You can call the trim to size method. You can understand what is it. What will it do? It will reallocate the unnecessary things. Means the capacity comes to 6 now. The capacity comes to 6 now. So after calling trim, can I add? Yeah, after calling trim also we can add. But 6 will become 12 now. When I asked you to call it in the last, you know that this is over. Then call trim. Okay. So you can just say capacity of new collection after calling trim to size. Trim to size. You can observe it is 6 now. Are you clear? Now see, long back you learned about copy constructors. I said you guys, copy constructors are used generally with arrays and collections for copying the values from one to the other. I have some 100 values in my collection. I want to manipulate it. If I manipulate, the original values will go off. So what to do? Create a new collection. Use a copy constructor. Copy them. Do the manipulations on the second one without disturbing the original. Are you clear? There is a scenario where copy constructors will be usable for us. And right now, it is a copy constructor what we just used here in this context. See, here I mentioned you. Auto resizing of collections. Auto resizing of collections. Okay. See, the capacity of a collection increases dynamically. The capacity of a collection increases dynamically. That is, when we add new elements to a collection, the size keeps on incrementing automatically. The size keeps on incrementing automatically. Okay. Every collection class has 3 constructors to it. And the behavior of collections the behavior of collections will be as following. When created, when the instance is created, when the instance is created using different constructor. When the instance is created using different constructor, the behavior will be varying for you. What is the first constructor, guys? Default constructor. The first one is default constructor. Just now I explained you the behavior of the default constructor. Initializes a new instance. Initializes a new instance of collection class that is empty. And the default initial capacity is as 0. The default initial capacity will be 0, which becomes 4 after adding the first item. And from then, whenever needed, the current capacity doubles. 0 will become 4, next double the things. What is the second constructor, guys? The second constructor is which takes int as a parameter. What is that? Capacity. The second constructor is which takes int as a parameter. What is that? Capacity. Initializes a new instance of the collection. It is going to create the new instance of the collection classes that is empty. Array, now also empty only. Now also empty only, but has a specified initial capacity. In the previous example, previous case initial capacity is 0, but here we have a specified initial capacity. Here also, when requirement comes, the current capacity doubles. The current capacity doubles. Whenever there is a requirement, the current capacity will be doubling for you. Third one, a collection which takes another collection as a parameter. A collection which takes another collection as a parameter. Okay. So here I'm mentioning this is a copy constructor. This is a copy constructor. You guys know what is a copy constructor? I don't require to specially teach you now about a copy constructor. This is a copy constructor. What it does? Listen. Initializes a new instance of the collection class that contains elements copied from the specified collection, from an old collection, elements copied from an old collection, and that has the same initial capacity as the number of elements copied. Remember the number of elements copied. Here also, when requirement comes, current capacity doubles. Here also, when there is a requirement, what will happen? Current capacity will double. It will double the current capacity. Am I clearer? Okay. And now here is an example for you to work with the array list. So first we have a stack example. Next we have a queue example. And here is array list. This collection class works the same as an array. Already said you here, this is a replica for an array, but provides auto resizing, inserting, and deleting of items. Are you clear? Okay. Yeah, this is about an array list. This is about an array list. Are you clear with an array list? It's a dynamic array. This is a perfect example for a dynamic array. It's a perfect example for a dynamic array. Auto resizing, everything is going to be possible for you in this context. Now, one thing here, array and array list, both of them will provide access to the values. Both of them will provide access to the values with the help of their index positions. Correct? Array and array list, both of them provides access to the values with the help of their index positions. And tell me, these index positions Can I call this index as a key for accessing the value? Can I call this index as a key for accessing the value? Did you catch my point, all of you? Can I call the index as a key for accessing the value? Yes or not? Now tell me, this key is predefined or user defined? The key is predefined or user defined? Louder. It is brainless fellows, predefined here. Where did you specify the index? Tell me. You specified index anywhere. For array, you specify index. For array, do you specify an index? Or did you specify any index here? They're added per you in a sequential order, I said you. When I call add, added in the 0th position. When I call add second time, add in the 1 position. They're all predefined. They're not user defined. All these indexes, what we are talking are all predefined. They are not user defined. They're completely predefined. Okay. So listen, what actually, if at all you just understand about this one, the keys are completely predefined. The keys are completely predefined. So can I change them? No, you cannot. You cannot change them. The index, I said you, it will give an option to insert an element or remove an element, but I did not tell you, you can change index positions. The index positions, you cannot alter them. Starts from 0, ends at n minus 1. I want to start from 1 and end at 10, not possible. That is not possible. Is it clear what I'm telling you? Okay. So that's what. Now, tomorrow, I wanted to store, I have a small requirement here. What requirement? From a database, I loaded information of an employee. From database, I loaded information of an employee. What information? The various details of an employee. What it contains are attributes. What a table contains? Attributes. Various attributes information of an employee, like name of the employee, job of the employee, salary of the employee, commission, department number, department name, still the email ID, the contact phone number, okay, his Aadhaar card number, his PAN card number, all the details will be in the company records now. Tell me, all these details will be present in the company records and all that particular information gets stored for you in the database. Now, I loaded all this information right now from the database. Loaded. After loading all this information here, now I have a new requirement. What is the new requirement? I wanted to pass on these values. I wanted to pass on these values to where? I want to pass on these values to another class. I want to pass on these values to another class. I have another class here. So I want to pass on all these values to another class now. Okay. If you want to pass on all the values to another class, what it planned, I just planned up creating one array list or an array, store all the values in the array or array list and transfer now. Best option is array list, then an array. Why? Array list is auto resizing. Tomorrow 10 attributes come, 20 attributes come, 30 attributes come also. Array list can accommodate all these things now. Yes or not? So what I'm doing in one class, I'm connecting to database, loaded the attributes information of an employee, stored it into an array list. Now can I send the array list from one class to another class now? In the second class, you can pick all the values from the array list now. Are you getting me? In the second class, you can pick all the values from the array list. That's what you can just do. Okay, fine, very good. But problem is, I am the first class developer, you are the second class developer. I am the first class developer and you are the second class developer. Now, as a developer, I am just storing all the values inside the array list. I sent you. You want to access them now. There are nearly some 20, 30 attributes of an employee. Not like one or two. How many? 20 or 30 attribute values are there. Now you want to access those values. Now tell me, in those 30 attributes, where is the salary attribute? Did you understand my question? Can you tell me the position of the salary? God knows. Who knows? Who knows here? Who knows the position of the salary? In an array list, you stored 30 values. In an array list, you stored 30 values. And you're asking where is salary percent? How do I know? I know. Sorry, you don't know. I know. Why I know? Because I only stored. But you know means you don't know. You are using my what? You are using my array list. So you don't know the correct position where they are going to be exactly stored. Did you understand me or not? So that becomes a big nightmare now. Why? When you want to access the values, when you don't know the positions, there will always be a big conflict and a confusion. When you don't know the position, there will always be a big conflict and confusion now, where they are present. And to overcome this problem, we are provided with one collection class called as hash table. What is that hash table? Hash table is also like an array list. Everything is same as an array list. Only thing is you can store the values in a key value combination. What is it? In the array list, you're storing only values. Keys are predefined. That is index starting from 0 to n minus 1. But coming to hash table, you can store your own keys and your own values. You can give keys also, you can give values also. So when I'm storing, I want to store the keys now. What is that? I'm storing the employee attributes. When I store the employee attributes, I'll store ID, value, name, salary, value. Store with my own keys now. When I store with my own keys, now tell me the other party, will it become easy for him to access the values by using those keys or not? Tell me. Yeah, the other party can easily access those values by using those keys now. So no need to bother about the keys. He can easily use the names now and access the value. That is the specialty of a hash table. Only thing is, array list, you will store values and keys are predefined. But a hash table, the name itself is a table. Yeah, it's a table, 2-column table. First column, keys. Second column, values. So the method is also add only, but add takes 2 values. Key value, key and value. But array list, add is taking only 1. What is that? Value. But here it takes object key, object value. Object key, any type of key. I want to store keys as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to store the keys as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. I want to store the keys as ABCD. I want to store the key as ID, name, salary, job, phone, like this. Your choice. Object key, object value. Did you understand the advantage of the hash table now? Okay, I'll show you how to work with the hash table tomorrow. Let's stop there. We'll meet tomorrow.